red dress ball. My name is Amanda. I'm with the American Heart Association. I've been working with Pauline now, I think, for the past 4 years. And this is always one of my favorite events to come to. So thank you everyone for being here, for supporting Pauline and her family, and for supporting the American Heart Association. The funds that are raised tonight that go towards research, community outreach, and education. So it's really important what we do. It's life-saving research, and lots of advances happen every year. So it's very exciting, so thank you. Most recently, I was working with Pauline also here, but also for the Heart Walk. And if you didn't know, last year we brought the Heart Walk out to the South Coast, Massachusetts area. So we are doing it again this year, very exciting. So it's May 17th at UMass Dartmouth. So please, if you're interested, come on out, support Pauline and her team, come to the Heart Walk, have a good time, and honor your survivors and loved ones. So now I'd like to introduce our speaker for tonight. It's Dr. Nosheen Javed from South Coast Health, who's a cardiologist, to talk to you about heart health.
Hi everybody. Hello. This is a lovely event actually. I really feel honored to be invited here. I was talking to Pauline a little bit about how she gets to organize nearly a ceremony as big as a wedding every year, you know, and it's great to know that her whole family is involved with organizing this event, because they have dealt with heart disease up close and personal. I want to thank Amanda for inviting me as well, because you know, dealing with heart disease is something I do every day. It's a cause which is very near and dear to my heart. I was actually at a roundtable discussion with Congressman Kennedy yesterday, and it was interesting to see that the initiative was women and was women's health in general. But what I could hear more of was everybody identifying women with reproductive health, family planning, but not so much with heart disease. And that's sort of been the challenge with women in heart disease, that there's not a whole lot of awareness that heart disease is still the #1 killer of women. It's more than cancer. It's more than anything else. And it's amazing that we see a lot of awareness for breast cancer, for example. And you see during the breast cancer month all the NFL players wearing pink. But I wish that the same kind of awareness becomes more common, and we see some men wearing red at bigger events, at sports, at other things that we all recognize, so that we can understand how important it is to deal with heart disease when it comes to women. How many in this room have had a personal story when it comes to having a family member who has been affected with heart disease? Can you raise your hands? So quite a few, I would say almost half, if not more than half of the room. And it just goes on to show you how personal this is, how important this is. It affects every single household. My own grandfather, who I love dearly, and then my grandmother, who I loved even more, I lost them both to heart disease. My grandfather at the age of 63, and my grandmother at the age of 72. So it's something that has always been very personal for me. And I think what we need to realize is that we have to make it a priority to educate women in our communities that this is something that affects all women in every walk of life. I was actually fortunate to sit with, Lorianne, who has been a speaker for the AHA and has been a survivor of heart disease at a young age and has done a wonderful job of spreading awareness. For those of you who know Lorianne, you know, she basically has had to deal with this thing at a young age, you know, and we basically want to raise the awareness that heart disease can affect women young or old. You know, it can affect women at any age. So we all need to make it a point to ourselves to educate our women about the fact that we can prevent this from happening. We can make a difference in the lives of everybody by making sure that we exercise, that we have our blood pressures under control, that we have our cholesterols under control, that if we have diabetes, that we get that treated, that if we smoke, that we don't. And not only do we do that for ourselves, but we do that for our families. You know, there's a very common saying that if you want to educate a nation, you educate a woman. And it's very true. Because guess what? The woman is going to educate her kids. She's going to make sure that she makes her husband understand what it means. And she's going to make sure that she nags her mom about it or her grandmother about it as well. So educating women is educating nations. And I think that we really need to make sure that our women know that this is still our #1 enemy when it comes to affecting our health. And I think we can do that. We just need the same kind of enthusiasm that we have had for cancer, that we have had for reproductive health. And we need to realize that the impact of heart disease on women is much, much more than any of those diseases. The one thing that I struggle with that women don't know is that heart disease is not the elephant sitting on your chest that is going to happen to each one of us. I still remember a 49-year-old woman who met me at Charlton Hospital where we do our acute heart attack angioplasties, and she had actually stayed home for over 5 hours, writhing in pain, thinking she had indigestion, because she just could not fathom that a woman of her age can have heart attack. She came in, and as most of you know in this room, when it comes to a heart attack, time is of the essence. Minutes are muscles. So what we have to know is that we can't think that we as women are invincible. That we're not going to get that heart attack, and we're not going to die from a heart attack because we do. And that when something like that happens, not take it lightly and blow it away as, oh, this is my acid reflux, and I'm just going to take some Tums and stay home. But actually pick up that phone and call 911 and get to the hospital. It's important that we know that as a community, because I think that the greatest damage that is done by heart disease is when people are not educated enough about the signs and symptoms of it. That's when they don't seek help. And that's when it makes its most impact. So education and prevention is key. It is the key to making sure that we're going to defeat heart disease. And I think that, you know, the AHA has done a tremendous job in terms of promoting this amongst the communities. And each one of us who is in this room has to take this message back to our individual families, to our friends, to our communities, and make sure that we understand that we need to educate ourselves about the signs and symptoms of heart disease, and we need to make sure that we take care of it. And I can go on because women and heart disease is an extensive topic, and nobody can do it justice in 10 or 15 minutes. But I'm sure you have much more interesting things to listen to. So I'll say that thank you for being here, and Pauline, thank you for organizing this event, because I think this is an absolutely great cause. that everybody over here has come to support. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy dinner. Remember, this is the 8th annual Red Dress Ball. Enjoy the evening.
You gonna say something?